Channel 2's Marianne Martinez live in Fort Bend County with the very latest. Marianne.
Sion, the Houston cases are all linked to travel to Egypt, specifically a Nile River cruise on a boat called the MS Asara. Now, anyone in the Houston area who has traveled to Egypt is being asked to self-quarantine at home and to contact their county health department. Those 3 cases identified now in Fort Bend County are presumptive cases. That's what the county says. They've tested positive here locally, and they're waiting a confirmation from the Centers for Disease Control. The people infected are a man in his 70s who had symptoms, was hospitalized, and is now at home in isolation. A second man in his 70s who had fever for 1 day and is now in isolation at home, and a woman in her 60s who had mild symptoms and is in home isolation. All of these cases, except for one, are people who traveled in a group to Egypt. The other person did travel to Egypt but was not part of that group. While in Egypt, they took a Nile River cruise. The boat involved the MS Asara is now under quarantine on the Nile River. There are more than 150 people on board. Almost a third of them have tested positive for coronavirus.
It didn't affect any of my decision at all. So we just came here. We saw on the news about the Luxor and the cruise ship. We are taking measurements by washing our hands. They say on the news. But we don't see any panic or whatever around us to actually be scared to not enjoy our vacation here in Egypt.
Now, of course, this is expanding the amount of people here in the Houston area who may have been exposed. The Del Webb Sweetgrass community in Richmond confirming that 2 of those most recent cases here in Fort Bend are residents of that community. They are asking them to isolate at home, but also saying that they did attend a community function before realizing that they were positive for coronavirus. Reporting live in Fort Bend, Marianne Martinez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.